Hello and welcome to the Buckets and Tea NBA show. I'm your host, Cathryn Naiker. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Today, joining me, friend of the pod, you know her, you love her, Raptors HQ Chelsea Leite. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I mean, I'm doing very well considering Boston has a 3-0 lead because the way I see it is, times are already tough enough, like we have to deal with inflation and God knows what else, and now we have to deal with the Boston Celtics up 3-0.
Yeah.
I just assume, we've talked about this here on the pod that by virtue of being a Raptors centric podcast, we are naturally a Celtics hater pod. And so I don't make any apologies for
No,
or
as
any
you shouldn't.
excuses. I mean, I thought, Boston was going to win the championship, but I thought it would be like, Boston in 6 or
Hmm.
something to that effect. I was not predicting a full on sweep. Do you think this is going to be a sweep? Do you think it might be like one of those gentleman sweeps where Dallas gets like that one game? Where do you think this is going?
I could very much see it being a gentleman's sweep just because, it's always fun to win at home. And, the Celtics are in a position where they know they're going to win regardless. So,
Mm.
why not try and win at home? But at the same time, maybe just get it done because you just want to have one less game to play. So, it could go either way. But I wouldn't be overly shocked if it was Celtics in 5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sweep. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about almost everything this playoffs. It's been extremely unpredictable, but yeah, I think Luka's going to be a big whiny baby, which is unfortunate. I've been disappointed in the Mavericks' depth and their role players
Hmm.
not stepping up this series. I was really looking forward to that before the series started. Like I thought we might get like a PJ Washington game or something like that. And really outside of Derek Lively, and of course Kyrie in game 3 had a huge game, but like
Yeah.
outside of those three, I feel like this bench has been, and just the role players, even their other starting role players, have been
Hmm.
a little bit disappointing. And I just don't know if they're going to want to go back to Boston just to lose. Boston. Like, I think it's not just the fact that they've lost, it's kind of like the way they've lost these games. Because even
Yeah.
when they were close, you could see they were just a little deflated and like missing shots that they normally do make and like taking really tough shots at the end. And I don't know. I think this team has, they've overachieved this year, in my opinion, getting to the finals. And I
Yeah.
think, they have a lot of work to do. And I low key just imagine Luka scrolling through his social media, seeing, his BFF, Nikola Jokic, dancing up a storm. I saw a video today, him dancing. I assume he's in Serbia. I don't know. But it
Why
was,
wouldn't he be?
yeah, like it was like Eastern European music, and he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah.
And I just, he stumbles upon that, and he's like, "Damn, I
Hmm.
could, I could be there in a
Playing with the
few days.
horses,
I could, yes, like, So I
eating
don't
good
know.
food.
I don't know
Yeah.
how much they're gonna dig deep out of this hole, but based on what I've seen, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that too. It's rough. I mean, I think back to the FIBA World Cup actually because
Mm-hmm.
Canada played Serbia and Luka was playing, and it was that single elimination game where Canada ended up winning. And yeah, you could just see them in the last quarter, not give up, but Luca got ejected. It was like
Yeah.
this whole thing. Dylan Brooks also got ejected, but whatever. Uh,
Dylan Brooks is like a different person when he's on
no,
Team Canada somehow.
I love him.
He's like an all-star
Yeah,
when
no,
he's on
I
Team
love it.
Canada.
It's the best to watch. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, that game was very interesting because you kind of see where the personalities go when you're put in a losing situation. And especially for those all-stars or those good players who are used to winning. They're just
Mhm.
these big talented people and they're just used to winning, and then you don't always win. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what my like main reminiscence has been through
Yeah.
these finals. And then also thinking about the fact that the Celtics are going to win, and I'm going on like a huge family vacation in like 2 weeks where all of my cousins who are Boston Celtics fans are just going to be failing to let me forget about it, the fact that they
You
just
have
won.
you have cousins that are Boston Celtics
I
fans.
do. They
I
all live
feel sorry
there.
for you. I mean, that's like that's like having a cousin who's a Trump fan. No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad.
Oh my god.
That was the first thought that came to my mind.
You just immediately associated. That's so funny.
That is not true.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, my cousins are in England, so they're not even like basketball fans,
Yeah,
really.
no, yeah.
But they all found out that I that I interviewed the prime minister on my WNBA podcast.
Yes,
I think that was the one time my mom.
iconic.
Yeah, I think that was the one
Iconic.
time my mom let some relatives know what I was up to.
They're like, oh look at her.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the like selective sharing of information is absolutely hilarious when it comes to our kinds of careers.
Yeah, very much.
That was iconic though. Like you guys interviewing the prime minister
Freddie and I,
was so iconic. Like I remember Freddie coming back and just being like, "So we just interviewed the prime minister," and I was like, "What? Like what?" That's crazy.
Yeah, it was absolutely wild. Can I?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this story. Freddie knows I've told this story. I haven't told it on this podcast yet.
Okay, nice.
So I love Freddie Rivas very much, but on this day he was driving me a little bit crazy because he's such a like, I don't know, he's just like a very like happy-go-lucky, like loose guy, and I'm just like, this is a very serious day.
Yeah.
A serious moment. So
it was like game 7 of the finals, like, you know?
Exactly. So it's just like, you know, we go to Starbucks like in the morning before we go in.
Yeah, we have to be there early. Too.
Yeah, we have to be there very early in the morning. And
this is the WNBA announcement also. I don't think we said that.
Thank you for providing that context. Yes, This was the day of the WNBA team in Toronto announcement. So it was a very early morning press conference. Freddie and I were interviewing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for our WNBA pod after they reached out to me, which was absolutely wild. And we're getting ready. We go to Starbucks and Freddie buys an apple juice box. Yeah. Not even like, it's one thing to be like, I don't drink coffee. Fine. But a juice box. And then so he's just like walking around, like sipping this juice box with his eyes like wide like a child, and then all the like the tinted window cars go by and he's like staring at them, and I'm just like, can you not stare?
Like, dude, doing? act cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you doing? And then there were like these like gift bag things that like weren't for us. They were like for other people. Just so
for like
annoying.
The fancy. Yeah, it was for I like literally went up to the counter. I was like, ooh, a sweater, and they were like, not for you. And I was like,
it was so
made
annoying.
me feel poor.
That did make me feel poor also. I was like, I'm interviewing the prime minister. I can't get a swag bag. Like,
yeah, right?
Yeah. But like, he was just gonna like, he was like looking at this like bag, and then he was like considering just taking it. And I was like, this is the one event we don't steal.
Yeah. We gotta like keep ourselves in the good books.
I was like, could you not? I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I was like, could you not? And he was like, oh yeah. And then he just started laughing. And I was like, Freddie, you're killing me right now. And then apparently our audio tech for the day, Michael, who owns the Sonar Network, who hosts our WNBA pod, so he was there helping us with the audio. Apparently by the major like press conference area, I wasn't there, but he like tripped over a bunch of chairs and made like a loud bang. And they were laughing so hard about it.
Oh my god.
And they were like, Cathryn, you should have been there. And I was like, thank God I wasn't there. I would have been mortified. I mean, maybe I was too stressed, but they weren't stressed enough. Which
there wasn't a balance. There needed to be a balance.
Stressed by not being
I feel that.
Stressed.
I would have been you in this situation. Like, I've interviewed. I think the most nervous I've ever been was interviewing Candace Parker, and I was like shaking. Like I was so nervous, and that whole day I just like couldn't do anything. Like I just was useless. So I feel like in that situation I would have been you.
Honestly, I'm the same way. Yeah, yeah. Well, that makes me feel better. Freddie, like he knows. We talked about it. We talked about it. I was like, look, I apologize if I was a little stressed today. And he was like, no, you were organizing everything. Like, I get it. You were great. And I was like, all right, we're
and
good.
It turned out fantastic.
And it turned out fantastic. And fortunately, nothing embarrassing happened in front of the prime minister. It was all that goddamn juice box. I was like, could you look more like a child right now? Like, you can get juice in a bottle.
Yeah.
Like in an adult bottle at Starbucks. It doesn't have to be the juice box. Oh, he's such a new dad. But anyway, we're getting very sidetracked here. The one thing I wanted to say, just going back to the finals for a minute here, with Luka, for all the criticism that he's getting, which I think is deserved, and he had a very poor defensive performance in Game 3 as well, which people have talked about. But there was a call in the fourth quarter where he ended up fouling out of the game. And it's a bit of a controversial call because it's one of those things where you could kind of see it going either way. Mm-hmm. And I could see absolutely why it was a foul. He didn't have his feet set, but I was also like, moments like this are a perfect example of when people talk about how all these calls and all these pauses are ruining the game. Mm-hmm. Because to me, this is just my opinion. Maybe people have different opinions. I'm like, this is the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Let it go. Oh, it wasn't a severe foul by any means. He didn't have his feet set, but at the same time, Jaylen Brown like pushes him. He like elbows him. Yeah. So it's like, well, of course he's not going to get his feet set if he's getting elbowed at the same time. To me, I'm like, the line between that being a defensive foul and an offensive foul is so fine. You and just let that go.
There was literally like, I don't know if you watched I think it was the final four of the women's, I'm bringing this back to women's basketball, sorry, like I always do. But it was UConn versus Iowa? Yeah, UConn versus Iowa.
Really that crazy? Like,
the Aaliyah call that literally ended up ruining the game. Yeah. And I was because I was like, it's 10 seconds left in the final four of the NCAA and it's a close one possession game. Yeah. And you're going to make that call. It was the same call.
What was it, like an illegal screen or something?
It was an illegal screen, offensive or offensive foul. Or no, yeah, it was illegal like screen.
That. Yeah.
And they said, it was the same.
The feet weren't set. And it was like the slightest slide.
The slight, like you could just, like, it could have gone either way. Like the line was so thin. And I was so mad that day because I was like, really? This is the final four of the NCAA. We're supposed to be having fun. And instead you rob us of the opportunity to even see the deciding play and see if it's going to go into overtime or see if they're going to make a buzzer beater by making the stupid call. Like, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, I think, when you're in the finals like that, if it should be like a very legit foul.
Oh, for sure.
Like to me, the final four, they should be more competitive. They should be more physical. Like, I just feel like it, then they challenge the call, then they lose the challenge. And I'm like, this is truly slowing down the momentum of the game. Yeah. And I feel like I am pro coach's challenge in the game generally. And I am pro, like, let's just get it right. But I was like, man, this has to be one of the worst / best examples of this slowing down the momentum. Yeah. And there was also like a timeout like a minute earlier that Jason Kidd called that I thought was a really bad timeout because I also felt like, okay, Dallas is on a run. They have momentum. They have the ball. They're only down by 3. There's like 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes left. Why are you calling a timeout? Then he ends up drawing something up. They don't get a shot. And it was like, you ruined your own team's momentum. Like, for all the talk about Luka, like, I also thought that was like a really bad moment in the game. And maybe it's just like a learning experience for all of them because it's his first finals as a coach.
But also good that happened to him.
Yeah, he didn't have a water bottle to spill on the court this time or whatever he does.
He deserves to have a water bottle spilt on him.
There are several players in this series that could use something like that.
Yeah.
Including one who's injured again, for Kristaps Porzingis. They did, it was like no Porzingis, no problem. Truly, like if you didn't know, I don't know how much you would have really missed him. Unless as a casual, like obviously if you're a sicko like we are, you know, but that's a no dunks term, I have to admit, the NBA sickos.
Basketball sickos.
But anyway, I'm happy to not see him on my screen as much anymore, and if there's only one game left, then good riddance to this whole NBA finals. And I hope I hope next year's more entertaining, because look, like this has been a sweep. Maybe it's going to be 5 games. I'd be shocked as hell if we went to 6. Both Eastern and Western Conference finals were essentially sweeps.
Right? The first round was the best.
The first round was the most entertaining round. That is not good for the NBA.
And Knicks and Pacers was good. Knicks and Pacers was good, but the rest of it sucked. Yeah. I was so bored. I was like, why am I watching this over women's basketball? I'm just going to turn on the WNBA.
Sucks. I mean, this time of year is crazy. Like, I mean, I'm sure it is for you too, like covering both with this overlap, but it'll be over soon. All right, let's move on to some other utter madness that's happening in the NBA, and that is the Lakers coaching search. So I wasn't gonna talk about this as it was happening, because I mean this has been in the news for like J.J Reddick, this, that, and the other for like over a month. I just thought, let's find out who they hire and then react to who they hire. But Dan Hurley of the men's UConn team turned down $70 million for 6 years as the Lakers head coach. Now, here's the thing.
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
I can't even fathom turning down $70 million.
That's fair.
Like if someone was like, Cathryn, if you go to prison for 6 years and you come out with $70 million, would you do it? Like, I'd have to at least consider it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he probably did.
I'd have to at least consider it.
He probably did consider it, but yeah.
I'm sure he did consider it. But
prison. I love that we're comparing coaching the LA Lakers to prison.
$70 million. How bad could the Lakers' job be? I mean, is he getting paid more than $70 million at UConn?
I don't think so, but I think it's more like I didn't like. And I think he's getting a lot of flack for it because the LA Lakers fan base is like probably one of the most global fan bases in the NBA. Like they have so many international fans. And I think a lot of these international fans don't realize how serious college sports are in America. And I honestly think that this man looked inside his heart and decided that he would rather maybe get paid a little bit less and take the UConn Huskies to a three-peat in like what they call the basketball capital of the world in middle of nowhere, Connecticut, then coach LeBron's twilight years and like not even knowing if LeBron's even going to come back kind of vibes. Like I truly think that this man like went maybe as a therapist, went to his therapist, wrote out a little pros and cons list and like made the like
therapist.
Yeah, like I think he just made the decision that was going to make him happier, and people are shook because obviously we live in like a capitalistic money society. But like I don't know, like I just saw it and I was like, yeah, okay. Like UConn is intense. Like that's like he's going for like Dynasty Hall of Fame kind of, and I'm sure they pay him extremely well. And I like. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm poor, but, like, at the same time, like, once you have that much money, like, what's some more money? Like, if you already are rich, why would, like, who cares about getting more rich?
Right. Yeah. I don't know what his UConn salary is, so.
Yeah, me neither.
It's hard for me to say on that part, but yeah, like, I agree with you.
But the work culture, the probably the, like, because this is what Dawn Staley always says. She says like she's so much more fulfilled coaching college because it's so much more than just the basketball. Like they're shaping these people to go
Mm.
into the next phase of their lives. And then you think about Connecticut, like they have a dynasty on both sides. Like the basketball culture at that school and in that state is so nuts. So like when you're a god, he's a god. Like, why are you going to go be the bum head coach of the Lakers where LeBron James is going to be calling your shots?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand why he made the decision. Maybe not from a money perspective, but from like a personal perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I also think too, this is kind of to your point, like when you're when you're a college coach, you're the man,
Yeah.
right? Like you're the number one. And he's been the number one in his culture for so long
Mm-hmm.
that to not just come to the NBA, but to not be that number one, is what it is. Like I yeah, like I can't now I'm thinking, did I say this last week on the pod? I don't remember. Well, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, everyone. Um, but like Draymond Green was talking about like the way his college coach treated him in college, and
Mm-hmm.
he loved his college coach. But he's like, if he talked to me that way today, there's no way it would work.
No.
And so
It's a
that was
very
like another,
specific.
yeah, that's another interesting layer to all of this as well. But now,
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
I googled his salary.
Oh, please.
It's at UConn. He just signed an extension for $32.1 million, so it's significantly less.
But for how many years?
Uh, let me go. I had to click into the thing. That was just like
Oh,
what
all
Google
good,
tells.
all good.
Yeah. Oh no, it's in Spanish. Oh man. This is a 6 year $32.1 million
Okay, that is
extension.
significantly less.
Significantly less. Yeah, it is significantly less. Sorry, that was a little chaotic for a second, but I was like, I can't just like leave this. I have to like.
Also, like, here's the other thing you got to figure: LeBron, you're getting coached by LeBron James.
Mhm.
The odds of you actually fulfilling those 6 years very low.
That's so fair too, and that's a
And then
guaranteed.
they'd have to buy you out. So
Yep.
you're probably coaching, like, I mean, I'd be shocked if you're there for 3 years.
I would be shocked if he stayed after one because I feel like we're
Yeah.
at the point where every year that this doesn't work for LeBron, it's just gonna be like if he stays anyway.
Yeah, I have a feeling the fact that they were entertaining Dan Hurley and the fact that they were offering him 6 years, I have a feeling that this might be LeBron's last season. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want that to be true. It's just, and I haven't read that anywhere. It's just like a
No.
gut feeling because, that to me, that is a rebuilding move.
Yeah. And also you think about the fact that like Bronny probably shouldn't have declared this year and he
No.
still did. So I'm like, yeah, this is going to be LeBron's last season because he wants to play with him. He's going to play one season. Poor kid is like getting rushed. And
Yeah,
then,
this
yeah.
kid, and he had cardiac arrest last summer.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild?
that whole situation it just kind of makes me mad, but like whatever, it's not my life. But yeah,
Mm.
so I definitely agree with you that I can feel this being the like LeBron like goodbye year, and his poor son is just going to be like in the dust of it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people aren't ridiculously hard on him. They
Yeah,
will be because it's today and the internet, but I won't
mood.
be. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I'm not
Oh,
gonna
for sure.
personally put like insane expectations on him.
Yeah, but then you think about the fact that yeah, like he's going to go where his son goes. So
Right,
I
because he's a
do.
free agent.
Yeah,
So
so I
he's
do
gonna
think
wait till after the draft to make a decision.
exactly, and I do think yeah, the Lakers were trying to move on and think about the future. And honestly, when you have a young rebuilding team, getting a college coach is a smart move because you have all of these kids who are like college age, especially when they do like
Exactly.
one and done, right? So getting a guy who like knows how to work with that age group, it was a smart move by them, but he just decided not to, which I think is also fair.
Yeah, and then if they hire J.J. Reddick and LeBron leaves, let's
Yeah.
just go through the hypothetical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, let's say that happens. Then I think the JJ Reddick hiring almost makes more sense because you're hiring a new coach with now a new team.
Yeah. And also,
right?
like,
He isn't going to have the championship expectations
no,
that the
like,
previous coaches have had.
has this man ever been an assistant coach or a
No,
high school or nothing?
not to my knowledge. No.
That's, oh man, to have the confidence of a white man,
Right?
just to walk into a job that you are wildly unqualified for, and
I
just
mean,
get it.
if J.J. Reddick has one thing, it's definitely confidence.
And
Right. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. Like,
no, yeah,
I don't like,
like,
you know,
kudos.
he has very like, I always try to be the smartest person in the room energy. And maybe he is because he's only in basketball related rooms.
It's giving. I don't know if this is too mean, but it's giving John Day Porter energy. That was so bad. Anyways.
Oh my god. No, you can do that on this podcast. That's
Yeah.
what this podcast is about.
I mean, was I wrong?
No, I don't think so. Oh, well, you know, I mean, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, true. That is fair. Like, not in the sense that he's gonna like do the same thing. I just mean in the sense of like thinking that you're smarter than the system.
Like the coaching version of that, it's like, oh, this player is going to get zero. This player is going to get a DNP.
Yeah.
Like, what would you control?
Yeah.
Right. And then they do. And then everyone's like, why did this player get a DNP?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, God.
It's definitely going to be entertaining regardless.
Yeah. I mean, I think like for J.J. Reddick, I think from his perspective, he's probably not as afraid of being a Lakers scapegoat coach if that happens, you know, because he has a platform where he talks about the game and he is constantly trying to prove to everybody that he is the smartest one in the room, and he can speak on his own behalf, and I think he's not afraid to.
Do you think
yeah.
he'd still do his podcast if he was the
if he's a coach? I think so. I mean, players have their podcasts throughout the season, so why not a coach?
But I don't know. Something about a coach doing it is so funny to me. Like, imagine Darko having a podcast.
Yeah, but this is like, look, I'm going to age myself, but it's like, you know, he's a millennial.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
Right? He's a millennial, and so he has a podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. Very intrigued.
You know, like myself. You know, millennials have podcasts. It's what we do. Yeah, I think he could keep it. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it makes him good money, and it probably doesn't take him a ton of time.
Yeah, and it would probably make him more money if he's sitting there talking about his Lakers,
his team, and he's the Lakers coach.
Yeah, like that's a cash cow.
Well, what might end up being a conflict of interest is having a sports betting sponsor.
Yes,
that I don't know about. That's new territory. He might have to get a new sponsor. Yeah, that I don't know about. I don't know if other player podcasts have, like current active player podcasts have betting sponsors.
Yes, the Travis and Jason Kelsey one has a betting podcast or has a betting sponsor, but whenever they talk about it, they leave and it's their producer who comes in and does the ad.
Oh, okay.
So like they're like, "Oh, we're about to have a like, do you know how people do like ads? They're like, "Oh, okay, we're about to have an ad." And then they like get off the screen. And they're like, producer comes in and says, "Today for whatever the betting site is called, blah, 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 blah." And then they just come back in.
Right.
So
yeah, maybe it's something like that. Interesting. Yeah, that to me is a gray area.
Yeah.
Because it's like, sure, you're not necessarily, I don't know. It's the Wild West when it comes to all the sports betting stuff right now.
Yep.
We'll see. I you know, there's no other name that's currently floating around for this Lakers job. It feels like it is going to be J.J. Reddick.
Yeah, because Jordi Fernandez got scooped. He was he was like the number one draft prospect for the next coaching job. And then, it makes me think about how like nobody had Darko on their like radar. And then there he was. And like, unless maybe
you mean last year?
Last year, yeah. When they like... but I feel like all of the names that have been floating around for the past like 3 or 4 years, they're all hired now. So I feel like we have to start getting a new wave of head coaching candidates who are going to start doing all these interviews. Like we had Jordy Fernandez, we had was it Charles Lee, something Lee? He got hired.
Was that the
Becky,
Charlotte hire? I don't remember
yeah,
who. Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was. Becky Hammon got hired. She was one of those for a while. Teaspoon, like all of these, and then Jordy Fernandez and all these people, like they were the people. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard now because you're kind of, having to go down to the next tier of up and comers.
Yeah, who else would it be? Maybe Kenny Atkinson. Right?
Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
Wasn't Budenholzer a name at one point?
He got hired by the Suns.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's the new Phoenix Suns coach.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, that's
another
one.
I don't think that's going to make a huge difference, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, Adrian Griffin's the name that is, I guess, out there that has some experience.
No, I don't think his name's out there.
Yeah.
Not in a realistic way.
Not associating. I'm just thinking of like possible people who exist in the world right now. So yeah.
I have a feeling he would have to be an assistant again.
Yeah. Which like people do. People go from being head coaches to.
Yeah, like Darvin Ham's gone back to the Bucks.
Yeah.
As an assistant.
And Nate, what's his name? From the Raptors. Who went to Indiana. Yeah, Bjorkgren. Yeah, so he did it. So yeah.
How bad of a coach do you have to be for people to write whole articles about how terrible your personality is? That was wild, because that's what happened to Nate.
Yeah, and then I don't honestly like nobody wrote about Adrian Griffin in that perspective, but it almost feels like that was the same vibe.
Yeah, they did not like him.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, coaching thing is wild. Yeah, I agree. The Lakers' coaching position is not an ideal position because they are in a transition, right? And they haven't fully committed to the rebuild yet, but they're going to within the next year. It's probably weird to be a new coach and then have to deal with LeBron James's swan song and then try to, rebuild it again. I mean, I don't know why they fired Darvin Ham other than to be a scapegoat for not achieving what they wanted to this season. Maybe he made a couple mistakes throughout the year. I don't know. But a lot of this is just roster construction. It's been said. I don't know. I think it'll be, if it's not JJ, I think it will be another new coach. And is JJ younger than LeBron?
Well, let's see.
I think he is. Is this it won't be the first time, but it's not often in NBA.
He's 39.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. LeBron's going to be 40 in December.
Oh, no, he's older. J.J. Reddick's older by 6 months.
Okay.
he's about to turn 40 in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. I was like, is he going to... okay, all right. Yeah, I think it has happened in the past, but it's not often that a coach is younger than the players. But anyway.
I think that was... it last year. I think the coach for the Phoenix Mercury was younger than Diana Taurasi.
Oh, yeah? Was she?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. And then she didn't last very long.
No. And then I think Candace and Becky Hammon was older than Candace. Yeah. But yeah, it's still, and Noel Quinn and Sue Bird played together as well.
You know who is also a really young head coach? This is not talked about enough. Was Jeff Van Gundy.
Oh, yeah.
Fair. So Jeff Van Gundy in the 90s was coaching in his 20s. He looked so old.
Yeah.
But he was not that old because he didn't really have a playing career and he kind of jumped into coaching. Yeah. So it's possible some of those Knicks veterans could have been older than Jeff Van Gundy back in the day. I'm not 100% on that. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to our Raptors Homer moment here. We haven't had a real Raptors Homer moment in some time on this podcast due to just lots of inactivity. And honestly, between the NBA and the WNBA, I've not been able to follow the draft prospects. Something's got to give, right? So, I mean, other people on Raptors Republic, Samson mainly, they cover that very well. And I'm hoping to just sort of do more of a reaction based on who the Raptors pick and who the other top picks are, etc. But for now, we need to talk about the fact that today, the day we are recording this, June 13th is now the 5th anniversary of the Raptors winning a championship. A true pout on the face of Chelsea here. Chelsea, how do you feel about this 5th anniversary? It seems like it's giving you some mixed feelings here.
I feel old.
Mm.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like 5 years, it feels like has been the longest slash shortest 5 years. Feels like it
Mm-hmm.
was yesterday. I have so many regrets about that championship run.
What are
I
your
just,
regrets?
not anything to do with the team. So at the time when they were literally in the finals, I had started a new job. And I
Mm-hmm.
had wanted to like go and like celebrate everything, but I was like, no, I just started this new job, my first job out of college. I was so
Mm.
perky. Literally 2 days after 2 days after the championship parade, I got fired. I was like, I could have gone.
Why did you get fired?
Cause like I may have like juiced my resume a little bit and like maybe wasn't qualified for the position.
Okay. My first job out of college.
Yeah.
Can I ask what was this job?
Oh, I was a PA on a movie.
Oh, and you were
And
not
like
qualified to be a PA.
like they wanted a more they wanted a more experienced PA. And I had like really only done dailies up until then.
Oh my
So I
god.
was like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, how hard could being a PA be? I was wrong.
Uh, wow.
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a very good work environment regardless. I won't like go into very much detail on that. But
It rarely is.
yeah, it's very rarely is. But literally, I was more sad about the fact that this job had caused me to miss out on all of the celebrations than I was about the fact that I gotten fired. But yeah, they just like they were like, yeah, like we want someone who like knows what they're doing a little bit more, and I was like, fair. And then I got another job like a couple weeks later. Like that's
But
how
that sucks
TV
that yeah, you
works.
could have gone. You could have
Yeah,
celebrated, yeah.
I could have gone. I could have celebrated, but I was like too concerned about my job, and then boom, like I couldn't even go to the championship parade. I couldn't go celebrate like the night
Mm.
of. Even like when they won, I think it was like the game before or whatever game to make them like like up three. I couldn't, and I was, and then now that I think back on it, I'm like that job meant nothing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now, yeah. So anyway, those are my regrets, but yeah, that's a
No, I
lesson,
mean,
kids. Don't juice up your resume.
don't do that. That's so funny. My only regret is actually going to the parade.
Really?
Yeah, because the parade, well, it depends on where you were. Some spots
True.
were great and some spots were an utter disaster.
I mean,
And
my
yeah,
spot watching the live stream from my cubicle was not the good spot.
yeah, that's I think that might have been better than where I was though, because I was at the very front of the Nathan Phillips Square stage,
Oh yeah,
at
that
the
seemed,
very
yeah,
front and to the side. And
yeah.
because things were running so late, if
Oh
you
yeah.
recall, we were there for so long, and it was like it I ended up going 12 hours without a washroom break because there was no
Oh
moving. There
my
was no
god.
moving. And like
Yeah.
there was one point where I was like I don't even know. Not cuz like I needed to go, but I was just dehydrated and I was too
Yeah.
afraid to drink water
Yeah, because you
because
like
I knew I
didn't.
wouldn't be able to go.
Yeah.
And there was one point where like I wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not, and then
Yeah.
other people were like cheering me on around me. Fortunately, I was surrounded by good people around me.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there were other areas like we could see in the crowd like other people getting into fights, like
Wow.
just spontaneous fights started breaking out because you're just too crammed
Yeah, and you're waiting so long.
against
It's
other
hot.
people for too long. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's all these things. And I saw a lot of people getting pulled out of the crowd due to exhaustion.
Hmm.
Like people being like carried out by security, people being put on stretchers. Like
Rough.
it was really dramatic. And like no joke, like I talked to a security guard and we were like, how many people do you think have been pulled out of this section? And then he was like, I don't know, maybe like 70 people. Like
70?
it was a lot. And I'm
Wow.
telling you, even after we had that conversation, another, no exaggeration, in my estimation, 30 people. So
Wow.
approximately 100 people got pulled out of that crowd just
Yeah.
from my view.
Yeah.
Just from my view. And we weren't even on the side where that shooting happened.
Yeah,
We
because that
were
was a
on
whole other thing.
that was a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we were on the west side and that happened on the
On the
east
east.
side.
Yeah.
But we were like, I was talking to my friends that I was there with, like, we were like, if we have to jump this barricade to save our lives, we will.
Yeah.
And
The adrenaline takes
we
over.
have to be prepared. Like it was like it got to that level.
Yeah.
And fortunately, like, we were okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually made it home and
Yeah.
all of those things, but it got scary
Oh,
and
I
it got
bet.
stressful and it was like it was not fun, especially considering like then the shooting happens and then
Yeah.
they had to cut the whole thing short.
Yeah.
And then they were like, do we tell people? And then they decided not to tell people because that could cause more public panic,
Hysteria.
hysteria,
Yeah.
and there's too many people around. And we could see, because I was at the very front, all the police officers having that conversation, having that debate, the reporters panicking, and then everyone on the stage just being calm and chill. I don't think Marc Gasol knew what was happening. Like, I don't even think he knew.
No.
But there's no way they all didn't know
Oh, for sure.
what was going on. It was
Yeah.
really weird. It was really, really weird. I think in the future, when the Raptors win, I do believe we'll win another championship someday.
Yep. Yep.
I
Or when the
will.
WNBA championship comes to Toronto.
Yes, yes. I mean,
Because that's like
WNBA,
a real thing.
we'll see what role I have with that team. Fingers crossed. With
Yeah,
the
right?
WNBA.
Same.
We'll see what role I have with the team.
Cathryn, we'll be on stage. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll be on stage. We'll be good. We'll be good. We'll be chilling. But with the NBA one, I think I want to be at a friend's house in a backyard with a large projector screen and like my feet in like a kiddie pool
Yeah.
and like a glass of wine. I think that is how
Yeah.
I want to enjoy
Or,
the parade
like,
next time.
My thing would be like I would go to the route, maybe early on in the route.
Yes, people who went to the very beginning of the route had a good time. People who were by the Princess Gates had a really good time.
I feel like
That
that's
was
the
the
spot.
move.
You
I
see
agree.
them, you celebrate, everybody's in a good mood, you're chilling, then you get home in time to watch the ceremony
The rest
on
of
TV.
it. Yeah. That is also the move. So anyway, we got to reflect because it's the 5-year anniversary, but that parade was a bit of a disaster. Okay, we have other very important Raptor related news to talk about.
Yes.
And that is Scottie Barns. I don't know if he was on Twitch or if he was on Discord.
One of those.
He was on one of those things and he was giving dating advice. Now, I know a lot of people listening to this podcast would think like, wait, why isn't that the Hottie Highlight of the week? Listen, when Scottie Barns gives us dating advice, it becomes its own segment. That is what this podcast is for. So if you haven't seen the clip, it went a bit viral. His advice was to go out, go to the mall, go find a good girl at the mall, go to the mall, strike up a conversation. That is his advice. Chelsea, do you think this is good advice? The men want to know. The men want to know if we think this is good advice.
Like, no. And, like, don't get me wrong, it was so funny. Like, I saw that video and I laughed so hard because I was like, oh, sweet summer child. First of all, you don't know what it was like to be at the mall as a teenager because that was the only thing to do. That's the one thing. The second thing is that, like, I feel like if anybody's going to be giving dating advice to, like, the general public, it should not be a very rich basketball player who, like, automatically has Riz because he's a professional athlete. But, like, don't get me wrong, love you, Scottie Barns. But if I was at the mall, like, in Toronto, in anywhere, and a dude came up to me and was trying to, like, the mall's not the place. Like, maybe if you're at a social event or a party, like, I would edit
Or
that
bar,
advice. Yeah, to, like, not the mall, but, like, go to a party or, like, go, not to, I wouldn't say, like, a club because it's loud, but, like, go somewhere where, like, the vibe is, like, conversation.
Good for conversation, yeah.
And not the mall where I'm trying to get in, get out, go to Lululemon and, you know, get back on the TTC before rush hour. Like, I'm not trying to go pick up people at the mall. I'm not looking cute at the mall. I'm in my like sweats. I'm in the clothes that is easiest to try on other clothes. I'm sad because I just spent more money than I wanted to. And I'm going down to the food court to get some like Shanghai 360 before I hop on the TTC.
Sure.
That's my objective at the mall. So don't be coming up to me. But I thought it was hilarious.
I think it's hilarious. I do think Scottie Barnes has some clear advantages in the dating world.
If Scottie Barnes went to the mall and went up to women, he would be able to get them. I understand.
I think, okay, I think there is a very fine line when it comes to this. And I'm sure a lot of guys are thinking like, well, I don't want to be creepy. I don't want to come across as a creep by doing this. This is a very valid concern.
Yes.
And thank you. If you have that concern, thank you for having that concern. Okay. This is a good concern. I think the key truly is confidence.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't mean arrogance. I don't mean pompous. I just mean confident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is years ago now. I was approached by a guy on the subway, and I did end up going on a date with him.
Wow.
Because he just like complimented my coat. Like it was like fall and I had like a cute, like kind of mustard yellow coat on.
Cathryn,
and he like
you're making my expectations go so high. Because every time I'm on the subway and I look cute, I'm like, am I about to meet the love of my life?
Yeah, like and like he just like struck up a conversation with me. And at first I was like, it's a little weird, but he was nice. He had things to say. Like I think he had like I don't remember what he said, but he had like nice like prompts, if that makes sense. So he wasn't just like nice jacket.
Yeah.
And then I was like, who the hell are you? And then it got awkward. Like
it needs to be natural.
He had the second and the third sentence to say. Yeah,
like a good conversation. Anytime I've like been picked up in public, it has been like someone who like has like social skills.
Yeah.
So that the key is not being able to tell if they're coming on to you until you get like the vibe of like whether or not you would actually hang out with them again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make some nice conversation, you get a vibe, and if you're vibing, then you go in.
Yeah. And I think if you try to talk to a girl like this, if you're trying to take Scottie Barnes' advice and a girl like isn't interested in having a conversation, do not take it personally. Yep. Just like Chelsea said, you don't know what they've got going on. They're just on the go. Maybe they're in a rush. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't take it personally.
That's why I say to do stuff in a social setting, because you know people are there to socialize.
I think a bar is far more successful.
Yeah, a bar, a party, an activity. Like if you go if you're playing in a rec league or like you're going to do an activity, like great.
Yeah, place. Like I did quote tweet it and I said like see me at Indigo.
Yeah.
And the reason why I picked Indigo is because that's rarely a store that I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
Because I'm browsing, right? Like I'm browsing books. I'm having like, to me, Indigo is like a fun store. Yeah. And then there's like also like other books and different things that you can use to make conversation.
Yeah.
With,
for
right?
Sure.
Like, so
no one's going into Indigo just to like, rarely to like get in, get out. Like when I go to Indigo, it's because I'm like giving myself a little treat, and like it's the experience of going to Indigo, not what I'm gonna buy at the end.
Yes, a bookstore is a good one.
Yeah.
A clothing store can be stressful.
Yeah.
Just like somebody walking in and out, you know.
Sephora, don't approach women at Sephora. Not Sephora. We are on a mission. We are trying to dodge the 12-year-olds. We are getting in and getting out.
Yeah, Sephora is also a cult. Like maybe like I don't know. Maybe like gay men could approach at a Sephora. That might be a thing. But
then they're not trying to pick us up.
No, not us. Yeah. But you know, there might be a few listening.
Fair.
I don't. You know.
Oh, true. Sorry,
I try to keep this podcast.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like cast out the queer people from this audience. I'm so sorry. I was like, we're talking about men and women. Wow, I just was so heteronormative. I hate myself.
Yeah,
during June as well.
Happy
Happy Pride. Chelsea is apparently homophobic now. Good Lord.
But yeah, this is my response to Scottie's advice. Nobody asked for this, but I thought I'd chime in anyway. I think
Yeah.
that's the best. You can approach women in the mall. I do think it's a risky strategy, but it could pay off very well. Just be confident, have some things ready to say. Compliments are always good. I don't like, the whole quote like negging thing or like insult, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially with a stranger. You can maybe do that with someone you already have a relationship with and you're
Mm-hmm.
used to teasing one another.
Yeah.
Do not do that to someone you either have not met or have barely met. Like, that has never worked with me. I
No.
remember, okay, this is kind of a funny story. A girl tried to hit on me a few years ago, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine, but like she tried to hit on me by telling me my eyelids are weird. First of all, my eyelids are
Interesting.
not weird. Like, okay, I'm wearing glasses. Like, my eyelids for the YouTube
I love that you had to
viewers,
show the
they're not
example.
weird. I'm just letting you all know I don't have weird eyelids. And when she was like saying this to me, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't picking up what she was putting down. And
Yeah.
then a mutual friend later told me that she was trying to hit on me. And I was like, well, that was
Yeah.
stupid. Like, not her trying to hit on me, but that move.
Now you're the homophobic one. Jeez, Cathryn.
But that move was like the worst possible. And I've had guys try to do other stuff like that to me before.
Yeah.
And don't do that. Don't do that.
It's been
We
it's
we
rough.
like confidence.
Yeah.
Period.
And
I think
politeness.
everyone likes confidence.
Confidence and politeness.
Politeness go a long way.
Yeah.
I agree. That is my take on the Scottie Barnes dating advice. I do like that he's encouraging people to go out.
Yeah, no, yeah. I like that. I like that. I was like,
generally is good advice.
Yeah, I appreciated that. I was like, yeah, that's good advice.
All right. Well, I hope our listeners found this useful.
Right? I loved it.
Okay, this brings us to our Hottie Highlight of the week. And Chelsea, I started this I think back in April, where our guests choose, because I thought that would be fun, but I didn't realize I was just giving myself more work, because now I need to find more Hottie Highlights every week. So we've expanded it outside of the Raptors, as you know.
Yeah.
I gave you two, and then for the first time, a guest, you offered a third suggestion.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry.
no, don't be sorry. I love it. It's a great suggestion. And you can
I do this often. One time
assert yourself? Is that
no, yeah. I like a month ago I sent my therapist like a pre-therapy email with like so much stuff in it, and then I got into the session and he was like, I've never had someone do that much pre-work before. I like literally sent him like an agenda
of what you wanted to talk about in the session.
Yes. And he was like, all right, I guess you just do the most. So I feel like this was almost the same kind of vibe.
But did he respond well to the agenda?
Yes, yeah. He was like, that was fantastic. He didn't say nuts, but like I could tell that was the vibe. He was like, this has made me learn a lot about you, because it was like early on in our therapy relationship.
Oh my God.
And
did you stop making agendas, or you do it every week or every session?
Depends. Sometimes we like have like a schedule going, but I did in my last session already tell him what I wanted to talk about in the next one. So I just like, we're just keeping updated.
That sounds very efficient.
Yeah, I'm all about efficiency.
Yeah, I'm not like that with my therapist. Like, she'll be like, so how was your week? And I'm just like,
yeah.
Just don't even just tell me what to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm like literally the complete opposite.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, I did suggest a Hottie Highlight. And is that the one we're going with?
No, we're gonna tell everyone what the choices are.
Oh, okay.
And then you're gonna pick, which I assume you're gonna pick your choice.
Maybe.
And then we'll get into it. But at least they will know what the nominees were.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so the nominees this week, obviously Scottie Barnes is number one. These are all runner-ups, okay? These are Hottie Highlight runner-ups of the week.
Yeah.
What month is it? It's June. It's the middle of June, and that's why we have Hottie Highlight runner-ups of the week. So the first is during Game 3 of the NBA Finals, Dirk, good old Dirk Nowitzki, was caught on camera shoving Steve, casually shoving Steve Nash, telling him to smile during the game. And then it occurred to me that he has to cheer for Kyrie Irving as a former Maverick himself.
Yeah.
Which obviously it all went down with them in Brooklyn. And the way those tides have turned really made me laugh. And then the forced smile is hilarious. Hottie behavior on Dirk's part, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Keeping the spirits up. And then also kind of teasing his friend a bit. Okay? So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, this is a big one. This is very big.
Very important.
Ellie the Elephant had a birthday party. So if you don't know, Ellie the Elephant is the New York Liberty mascot. She's a very big deal in the mascot world.
Yeah.
And
she's that girl.
She's that girl. She had mascots from other sports travel
like across the country
to attend her birthday. She had a total of 3 costume changes that I saw. At least Ellie the Elephant has a TikTok account where she does have a voice, which I think is unique for mascots. And she's a very good dancer, really raising the game. Anyway, her birthday party, it felt like it lasted a week long, like on my social media, and it was very epic. Chelsea's suggestion is the NaLyssa Smith and is it DiJonai Carrington? DiJonai, thank you. Carrington saga. Because wait, these are the two that are exes, right? Not the one that she blocked the shot on.
No, no. These two are exes, but like
they
who knows right now? Last year, I think it ended.
I believe they were together when they were at Baylor.
Yeah, and then led into...
And then apparently they had a breakup. Apparently it was messy. They stopped, following each other, whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't typically follow an ex, but that's just me. Yeah. And, but now, they're on different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. DiJonai Carrington is on the Sun, and NaLyssa Smith is on the Fever.
Yeah,
and they were kind of caught on the court, smirking with each other a bit. DiJonai had a huge block on a different Fever player, and then she got up trying to be like what you trying to do, and then her ex breaks up the fight. And people have been talking about this. People who are really new to the WNBA, just discovering lesbians exist in sports is absolutely wild to me.
Here's the thing, is that in our current NBA landscape, the thing that is lacking about the NBA compared to the WNBA is the fact that there's actual relationship drama in the WNBA. They're dating each other and breaking up, and then sometimes
getting married,
having kids. But then the thing that got interesting about NaLyssa and DiJonai is that then, a couple days after that, block, and then NaLyssa pulling the other one away, or however it went, is that they were taking mirror selfies in the same mirror and then posting them, but at different times. So
what?
It was DiJonai
one went to the other person's locker room, or
no, at their house,
at a residence.
At a residence. So then it was DiJonai apparently posted, because they're all DiJonai is very big on the fits, very stylish, hair and makeup, the whole thing, get it, girl. posted a mirror selfie of herself, and then literally like a day later, NaLyssa posted a mirror selfie, and it was very obviously in the same mirror at the same house. And then everybody was like, "Ooh!" And then last night when we're filming this, but a couple of nights ago when it comes out, NaLyssa, who was not playing on, like, she plays for the Fever, was sitting courtside at the Sun Chicago game, because Chicago and Indianapolis are like not that far apart from each other. So she went to Chicago.
Oh, I didn't realize that part.
Yeah, so last night,
wow.
which is why I brought this up. I was like, Cathryn, we need to talk about this. Because last night, her team was not playing. Her team was not in Chicago. They play tonight in Indiana. NaLyssa Smith was in street clothes sitting courtside at the Sun Chicago game. And then they were talking after.
Okay, that does seem like a rekindling of a romance.
Tea. And they were wearing matching shoes last week.
Okay, well, for that to happen the same week as Ellie the Elephant's birthday is absolutely wild to me.
Yeah,
For Ellie the Elephant to be third place and Hottie Highlight of the week doesn't feel right to me at all. But you're right. That's a big deal. Listen, if NBA players started dating each other, and I know I'm going to lose listeners just by saying this,
yeah,
I would lose my mind. It would be like the best thing.
The best. And I don't say this in a way that, like, I don't know, it would just be the best. Like,
you're being cruel.
Like, that's the drama that NBA is missing. Not that there isn't enough drama, but it's just like a little bit of unique drama. Because then they play each other, and they are in playoff series together, or then they're on same teams, but then somebody gets traded. It's like constant.
I want it.
Oh, it's great. I love the tea. We're on buckets and tea. I had to bring the tea.
That's what this is. If
I'm gonna suggest my own Hottie Highlight, you know I'm gonna bring it.
Yeah, that was huge, and I only knew half the drama.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you filling me in on the other half, which is very significant. Yes. Yeah, that's got to be it, because that's absolutely wild for that to happen in the NBA.
Iconic.
Okay, I have a controversial. Well, this is not a controversial. No, it's not a take. It's just going to be a question that I pose to you, because I don't actually think this would be a good idea. Okay. But I've been curious about this for years.
Okay.
What if the WNBA hired Andy Cohen as a consultant?
A consultant?
A consultant.
What would he be consulting on?
He created the Real Housewives franchise.
Yeah, but like
he could turn the WNBA into a reality series. Right? Like Formula One has that reality series.
Yeah, and Breakpoint and all that stuff.
Yeah. Would he be the guy?
I mean, yeah. I thought you meant the way I thought you meant it was that you hire Andy Cohen and he comes and like does like, do you know how at the end of All Stars they do like the, what's it called? The like where they all come together and just like talk about the season. I want that to happen with the WNBA.
Oh, like a reunion.
Yes,
episode.
The reunion. Yeah, I need a reunion episode at the end of.
That would be good.
And I thought you meant like Andy Cohen comes in and makes like a WNBA reunion episode. I would love
if he did his Plead the Fifth segment with NBA players.
Yeah.
I would love that also. But yeah, a reunion episode would be really fun. Yeah. I think I just feel like it's why it's a bad idea is because it could take everything to a bit of a trashy place.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. And you don't want the league to become like a circus where like no one even cares about basketball.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why it's a bad idea. But why it's a good idea is for all the Hottie Highlight tea we had here today.
Yes.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line, just like not being a creep at the mall. It's a fine line.
We need a reunion episode of the 2022 Phoenix Mercury team. That's what I need.
Ooh.
I don't need anything else other than that.
Yes. That's quite the story for those who don't know.
Yeah. But, for another day. For another
and you know what
highlight.
you know what they also need to bring to that reunion? The door.
Oh, the
Diana
door.
Taurasi trashed.
Yeah.
For the The Phoenix Mercury lost the finals that year, and Diana.
No, it was the year before.
Oh, it was the year before. Yes, you're right.
2021.
And then Diana Taurasi trashed the Chicago Sky visiting locker's door. And then when she was asked about it, all she said was, "There were many doors." That was all she had to say after completely trashing the locker room.
And there was pictures of it. Don't give me the door was.
I was like, this has to be one of the highlights of the year.
Oh, it was fantastic. And then I'm pretty sure Chicago brought the door to their parade.
Brought the door to the parade,
which I thought was so funny.
On TV more.
It's true. Well, see, we're missing all the good storylines, man. That's why I'm glad we're getting more opportunity to like speak on the WNBA, because we need to be covering those stories.
Yeah, and people don't really realize like how good it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and just how entertaining all this stuff is. I mean,
it's true.
You're right. That would be a hell of a reunion special. But okay, we should probably wrap it up here. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining me. You've got a lot going on, even over the summer. You told me you're prepping a lot of different WNBA articles and different things like that. Let us know what you're up to and where people can find you on the internets.
Yeah, so in terms of NBA, still at Raptors HQ doing our thing, and now that the Toronto WNBA team is coming, we're kind of expanding into that. And then for the WNBA season, I write for Athlon Sports, Winsider, and Swish Appeal through the season, so a lot more coming, obviously, as we get into the juicy parts of the WNBA season.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Like the episode if you can. I'm trying to sound more normal saying that. I say that every week. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on just being a human. But thank you. A human who knows how to promote themselves. See, this is my therapy session right there. But thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. And we will catch you next time. Bye.